And we're going to get some more light on the subject. Hello, welcome to episode 160 of the Crafty Boys.
160 what?
Episode 160. Didn't I say episode?
160. Oh, you mean we've actually cracked 160. Holy.
Wow.
Apparently, I'm the only one who pays attention to this crap. All right. It is October, which means that most of the beers that we drink this entire week, we're drinking them all, are going to be of some sort of Halloween themed thing. I assume.
Are they?
Because that tends to be what happens at this time of year. Everything will have pumpkin or spice.
Well, it's Thanksgiving this coming up weekend.
That is true. Do we have a turkey flavored beer?
You know what? That's something that, we could suggest that.
I'm okay with cranberry. I think that's where it stops for me.
So I think Dave picked the beer this week. So Dave, do you want to?
I didn't actually.
Oh, you didn't?
I think
Alan did. I think I don't remember. I just got it.
I think it's kind of a collaboration.
It was a collaboration. So, all right. I guess for this week. So there's a lot of pumpkin beers that come out this time of year, and you know what? Frankly, people are kind of, I think, getting sick of them. But
I don't know why. Pumpkin rocks.
Pumpkin rocks. I don't know that pumpkin beers rock. Generally.
I guess we'll find out.
But is this a collab? Where does it say collab on this bottle?
It's not a collab.
Okay.
So, but we have found
collabing.
something that I think that we can get behind. It's from Phillips Brewing. It's called the Crookeder Tooth, which is a barrel-aged pumpkin ale. Now, Phillips puts out two beers. One is called Crooked Tooth, which is a pumpkin ale. And then this one here was just Crookeder Tooth, and it's barrel-aged. It's 7.3%. And it says the big barrel aged brother to Crooked Tooth. This pumpkin ale is king of the patch. Crookeder brings a delicious vanilla bourbon punch to help light up that smile. Pairs well with tricks and treats of all kinds. So I'm interested.
I'm game.
Shall we?
I'm going to open mine because I can, because I've got the rockin' Valley Penis back. This golden
Where was it?
Penis. Oh, Was
it in the shop?
It was getting it fixed. It broke. All right, and I can smell the spice right out of the tip of the bottle.
Yeah, it smells amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is like. Oh my God, this is like a candy cane decided to leave home and join the circus.
Look at that head you've got there. Yeah, I'm not getting that same thing, but
Alan,
Alan,
you have to learn how to pour like shit. That's what the thing is. That's the ticket.
And
it's
some of the
spicy.
foam out my nose.
I just don't even want to drink this. I just want to sit here and smell it all day.
All I want to do is smell my beer. Hey, do you guys like beer? Only when I smell it.
I want my life to smell like this.
Okay, let's all taste at the same time.
All right.
Oh yeah, baby.
Mine, you can't have it. It's mine. Mine. All mine.
My precious.
Exactly what I was thinking of. Oh my God, that's actually
that is really, really quite tasty.
Oh yeah.
So here's my question: is there any pumpkin in this, or is this just pumpkin spice?
Let's see. According to the bottle, water, barley, hops, yeast, pumpkin, spices. So yeah, there apparently is pumpkin.
Okay, so there's actually pumpkin in it. Because there's those people that complain to Starbucks because their pumpkin spice latte didn't actually have pumpkin in it. Well, there's no pumpkin in pumpkin spice. It's not pumpkin latte. It's a pumpkin spice latte. I wasn't sure if this was a pumpkin spice beer or a pumpkin beer.
I used to have a friend who worked at Starbucks, and they sent me photos one year, probably 2-3 years ago, of uh, the bottle of the stuff that's called the pumpkin spice, and it had an expiry date on it of like 2024, and it was this big bottle that they opened up, and apparently this bottle had been around for a couple of years already, and they that's what they pour into the whatever machine to make the pumpkin lattes, which pumpkin
But
spice
it's just pumpkin spice. It's just spices. That's it.
I know, and it sounds so gross.
Yeah, it does.
But at the same time, I don't mind a little pumpkin spice once in a while. But
anyway,
I don't want to know where it comes from.
I'm totally detecting the pumpkin spice in this.
Oh yeah, the aroma of this beer is shocking, like shocking. It is absolutely just terrifying. How
I wish that we had the Crooked Tooth alongside this so we can compare the flavors.
Now, what is the difference? Now, I didn't quite understand. The only thing I could tell is that the pumpkin, the Crooked Tooth, is just a normally aged beer. This one is barrel aged. Now, do we know how long this has been actually aging?
No, we don't. But I'm just on the website.
You're on. What does it say?
It says that they use an oak aging trick, but I think that's a play on sort of Trick or Treat. It's not trick. They aged it in oak barrels to provide that kind of extra flavor. Does it say on the bottle here? Vanilla bourbon punch. So I wonder if they're bourbon barrels.
Okay.
Well, I'm picking up.
I'm definitely, picking up sort of like a bourbon-y kind of flavor in this that you would not find in the regular Crooked Tooth. I have a feeling this just has a little bit more depth to the flavor than you would find in the regular Crooked Tooth. I also believe that the alcohol content is going to be higher in this one, and indeed it is. In Crooked Tooth, it's 5%. This one, Crookeder Tooth, is 7.3.
As we all keel over and die horribly.
And I have to say something. We've had a few of these barrel-aged beers, and they're awesome. I really enjoy them. I hope this is a style that doesn't, go the wayside anytime soon, because I really enjoy them. The depth of flavor is just incredible.
I gotta say, this one is. I'm looking on the website trying to find something that says anything about the aging, but yeah, you're right. There's not a whole lot.
I would imagine it's probably just for a few months. I mean, if you think about it, they probably start making their fall beers, probably early to midsummer.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, before that, they're making all their, their summery stuff.
Are they, how long are they aging some of the beer that we like the, I'm pointing at my shelf over there, which has a bunch of the oak beige, what's in this beer? The oak stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know what specifically is up there on the shelf. We've got like 3 different ones. Do you remember?
Oh, we're holding on to Old Cellar Dweller. That's the only one I know.
Yeah, I have it right here.
There's another one with a red box.
That one, we did that one.
Yeah, but I still have another one. I thought.
Yeah, you bought another one.
Am I the only one? All right, then screw you guys.
Yeah. I didn't buy another one. I think it was the Fuller's. I think it was the Fuller's Private Reserve.
I'm gonna go look. Talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, Shane's gonna go look at that. Yeah,
All right.
so we still have the old cellar dweller here, which we bought actually 2 years ago, almost 2 years
Crazy.
ago. And we're gonna have to open this up.
Very true.
You know what? I'm tempted to suggest that we actually pick up this year's cellar dweller,
I've already had some.
so we have something to compare it to.
So drink that.
Yeah, we could do that.
Because I'm totally
Wow.
interested. Because
Peanut Gallery is like, oh wow.
I have a feeling the flavor profile will be very different, but I mean, we have to be careful about drinking 2 of these things in one go.
Totally. So here's
yeah, that's fair.
Here's cellar. I've got the Fuller's
Vintage Ale. Okay.
Vintage
Yes.
Ale.
Which was good. It was very good.
Cellar Dweller, which is got the Sealy cap deal, the wax. But I've also got this one. Oh, that's okay. That's the one I couldn't remember. I actually have a Thor's hammer. That's been God. What is this? How long has this been around? I don't even remember. I suspect this has been around for at least a year.
I have this one too. Thor's hammer.
Yeah, you've got that one. I've got a smaller one, but it's got the weird label on, like the one that's like been ripped. That kind of idea.
What year is yours?
That I don't remember. I knew I had more than 2, but I didn't remember it was this one. So
It doesn't say the vintage on the front of the label.
Bourbon barrel, extra strong ale. No.
Oh, okay.
It
So mine
says-
says
it just
bourbon
says
barrel
it's,
aged, and then below that says 2014 vintage.
Oh yeah, I don't have the vintage edition now, but this one says age for about 5 years before enjoying. So, but
So well done, Phillips, on the cricketer tooth.
yeah, the
it's
cricketer
very
tooth,
tasty.
Wow, I'm impressed. As I said before, mine. You can't have any. Excuse me.
I wish I had some names, but I really want to give a
Wish you
shout
had
out
name.
to the artist or artists.
My bottle's
Probably got 2 or
my bottle's gone. The whole bottle is gone.
It's funny that.
But
There's the artwork there.
I am always regardless of what the beer is. I am always
artwork is
impressed
just-
by the labels that Phillips gets on their bottles.
Yeah.
oh no, that's okay. I'm good. I don't need that either. What do you?
So shout out to the artists that do these because you guys are rocking it.
Can't. There's not enough room for all the beer. So what? I think I lost my mind. So out of all of these wonderful tastes that we got going on here, what is your favorite part? Is it the spice? Like, is it the aroma or is it the taste? Or is it both?
Totally the taste. For me, I mean, it's very aromatic, indeed. But for me, it's the flavor. It's that mix of the bourbon with the spices is a very intriguing flavor profile that I haven't had anything like it anywhere else.
I can't think of anything either. I mean, I'm searching in my brain, which is a slow process, but I cannot think of anything that matches or even comes close. I mean, I suspect the cellar dweller, because we had a cellar dweller. Didn't we talk about the cellar dweller and drink it, or did we just buy it and keep it?
We bought it and kept it. We had an entire show where we looked at the bottle and didn't drink anything.
I like this bottle. Yeah, my cellar dweller is 2016. The Fuller's Vintage Ale is 2016. It is. Whereas their font is really horrible, so I can't tell you exactly what it is. But essentially, yeah, you're not supposed to touch it for X number of years. What did we actually promise ourselves to? How long did we actually?
We said we would have the old cellar dweller after a year, and it's been almost 2.
Well, we may as well keep going then. I mean, I don't see why not. What about you?
We'll
you don't
never
any-
have it.
Never drink it.
We'll be like old men. We'll be like in our 90s and everything. It's like, I've been holding on to this beer for 50 years. I'll never drink it.
I want it to be so amazing that I will make fun of
This
Dave
bottle's
constantly.
worth $100,000.
Oh,
I want, how old does beer have to be before it becomes $100,000?
oh, jeez.
What is the
Very
most
old.
expensive wine?
Do that.
Dave, Google most expensive wine. Let's find out how much it costs.
Most expensive wine. Hang on.
The most expensive wine that you can buy commercially.
Because I'd like to know. Then the next search will be the most expensive beer, which I'll do right now.
Okay. Oh, this is just red wines.
Most expensive beer in the world. I found it.
I think it's about $100 a bottle.
So, collector's red wines. Okay, I don't know if this. Let's just have a look here because I'm not sure these are commercially, because Alan was saying it's got to be commercially available. Let's
Oh my
have a
God.
look here.
What? Oh my God. What? Are you looking at naked ladies?
No, I'm looking at really expensive beer.
Really?
I
So
do,
what do you
I
got?
do
What do
know
you got?
that there was a beer that came out a few years ago. It was $100 a bottle. I don't know why it was $100 a bottle, but that's what it was. Apparently, they only made like 100 bottles or something to go worldwide.
Well, here is a beer. This is okay. I've got a list of 10 here. 10 expensive beers.
Okay.
The very first one is called the Antarctic Nail Ale. It is a beer that is a 10% beer. And it was brewed with water melted from an Antarctic iceberg, dug up by the Sea Shepherd Conservation Society. Dug up. That's a weird word. So when the beer was made, they only made 30 bottles of it at 500 ml bottles. They were 800 apiece.
Jesus.
After they sold a bunch of them, some people really wanted it, and the prices climbed to $1,800 for a bottle.
Wow.
How do you say this brewery? Pabst? Is it Pab?
I think so, yeah.
They made a beer called the Blue Ribbon 1844.
Okay.
It was made by the Chinese division of their company, called the 1844, with German caramel malts, matured, uncharred whiskey barrels, and a beautiful bottle priced at $44 for 700 milliliters. Wow.
I take it these are U.S. prices.
Yes, I will assume these are U.S. dollars. There's one from Brewdog called The End of History. Only 12 bottles were made because the bottles were stuffed inside of animals. Taxidermist wrapped the bottles with dead animals.
What?
Yeah, that's kind of 330 milliliters for $765. But it's 55% by volume. Really?
What? No.
Belgian ale mixed with nettles and juniper, freeze distilled multiple times. So it's beer, but they distilled the beer. So it's kind of
they
beer.
basically turned it into hard liquor.
Yeah. Then there's one by Jacobson Vintage, or called Jacobson Vintage by Carlsberg. One of the most popular beer country. Hold on, just a second. Let me get a little more of this into me. My speech will become better. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah. One of the most popular beer companies in India, the Danish brewery Carlsberg, created a beer trilogy. priced at
Sorry,
$400.
Did you say in India?
Yes, they brewed them in India, apparently.
Okay. You said it's popular
Priced
in
at
India.
$400 for 375 milliliters. The expiration date of this beer is 2059. So you can save the last drink to share with your grandchildren if you want. Flavored with vanilla and coca. Hints of a peaty tar and rope, which does not sound appealing. And was matured in French and Swedish oak barrels.
That's a flavor I look for in a beer, that it tastes like rope.
Yeah, exactly. I really need some, really good
nylon braided.
Yeah, or hemp. A beer by Schlossenbrau called the Schlossenbach 57.
It sounds like they were drunk when they named their.
Exactly. Claiming to be the strongest beer in the world, released in 2011 with an ABV of 57%. Any higher alcohol content in Germany's 500-year-old beer purity law would be broken. Apparently, there's a purity law.
There is, in fact. I've been reading about that lately.
Exclusivity at its best. Only 36 bottles were made, each for a cool 200 euros. Smells like nuts and raisins. Okay. The strongest commercial beer in the world, launched in 2002 by Samuel Adams, is a beer they call Utopias. The strongest beer is 27%. Smoke malts matured in Scotch, port, and cognac bottles. Only 9,000 bottles were made and in 2000, and they come in a very pretty ceramic bottle that looks like a copper finished brewing kettle. American beer, though it is banned in 13 states due to its alcohol by volume, and you need to shell out $150 for a 700 milliliter bottle.
Wow.
If any still exist.
True. Brewdog is back on this list for a second time with a beer called Sink the Bismarck. Famous for its products and tacky names, blah, 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 blah. Was created in 2010, offering a German-style beer brewed specifically to go after Schlossbrau. It's 4 times as bitter as normal beer and is as strong. Cool $80 for 375 milliliters. Number 3, I kind of want to have this one. I know I never will, but it's beer called Tutankhamen. It is developed by Cambridge researchers and Scottish breweries. It all started when the researchers unearthed a royal brewery in Queen Nefertiti's tomb. Nefertiti. I didn't want to say titty, so there you go. With an electron microscope, they found beer residue in over 3,000-year-old urns or whatever, I guess. So 1,000 bottles were brewed. It later went down to 75% $75 for a 500 milliliter bottle. Then, of course, we have Crown, created Ambassador Reserve. From Australia, the same company that brought us Foster's. They made something called the Crown Ambassador Reserve, $90 for a bottle, and sells on eBay between $200 and $300, but is also sold at about $800. 8,000 bottles were made in 2008. So as time goes on, the price goes higher. And finally, number 1 on this list by Sapporo. They created a beer called Space Barley. Russian scientists at Sapporo came together in 2006 to brew this beer because the seeds of the barley from which the beer was made was kept on the International Space Station for 5 months. While it was all part of a research study, the possibility of self-sustenance in space, Sapporo went ahead to brew from this barley and you can get a 6-pack of it at $110.
That's similar to what Ninkasi did. Where they actually brewed a beer. I can't remember what it was called, but they brewed a beer that was made with yeast that had been in space, and it was like you can buy in a box, and it was about $25 a bottle Canadian.
Yeah.
But why was it so expensive?
Just
because the yeast
of the
had been in
yeast.
space.
Oh, the yeast. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. My brain was still on barley.
Control.
Yeah, it was called ground control. That's right.
And we actually talked
control
about it.
for
The three of
Major
us
Tom.
talked about it.
Yeah.
And we decided, yeah, no. More marketing gimmick than anything else.
That's what it seemed to be, a marketing gimmick. I mean, it was $25 a bottle, Canadian. And from all reports, the actual act of being in space actually robs the yeast of any properties that would produce good beer.
Which makes sense because you've actually removed it from the soil, which gives it the flavor. So it makes sense.
Right.
I don't know. I guess. I don't know.
I suppose.
So anyway, by all accounts, it's probably not a good beer. So I mean, shelling out $25 for a piece of crap beer.
It looks so cool though.
The box is amazing, but you know what? I don't buy boxes for $25.
I don't buy boxes.
That's fair. That's fair.
Okay, you know what I would do if I was to purchase that? I'd buy it and not drink it, just to keep it, just to say, hey, the yeast that made this beer has been in space.
Yeah. Yeah. So do we want to compare with comparable red wine?
Sure.
Yeah.
What's the most expensive? I don't want to know the top 10. I just want to know what the most expensive commercially available wine is.
Well, okay. I don't know about commercially available. I'll give you the top 3 out of the 10. Okay.
All right.
So number 10 is Domaine Leroy Richebourg Grand Cru. I am butchering that mightily. That comes in at a small $5,921 for a bottle.
Well, for that, I can buy 3.
Damn straight. Number 5 is Cheval Blanc 1947 Saint Emilion. Comes from Bordeaux, apparently. That rings in at a mere $135,125. Yes. And number 1 is Screaming Eagle Cabernet, which is actually apparently out of Napa.
What year?
2000.
Whoa, really?
Sorry. My bad. This is the 1992.
Still.
And yeah, right. It's actually quite young. You would not expect that, but I guess the older stuff is and maybe this is what it is. Maybe this stuff is still not commercially available, but more widely available to the average Joe. Whereas this heavy duty stuff, you probably have to know where to look, like on the dark web and shit, for your bottles that are, $500,000 and stuff. Yeah. Anyways, this here rings in at $500,000 for a bottle of this stuff.
Wow. So
there's the comparison.
So this begs a question here. So I got the Thor's Hammer here. That's a 2014 vintage. At what point does it become undrinkable? Do you figure? Like, can I keep this for 50 years and it will be just as good?
That is a very good question, because I mean, it depends on how well sealed it was, like how clean it was when it went in, right? So,
Well,
I
I mean,
the alcohol
it's got a
in-
cap on it that's covered in.
Well, this is what I
wax.
mean, right? It's the chance. I mean, some of the wine I gather of some of the bottles on the Titanic were still intact. Now, granted, they were under extreme pressure at 12,000 meters, so it probably the ocean water probably got in, even if it didn't entirely pop the cork. But then, of course, there were a lot of bottles that their corks were pushed into inside the bottle. So, whether or not, I don't know. That's a good question because it would really depend on the conditions. I mean, if it sat in your basement for the next while, probably would be okay. But I'm not sure how long it takes wine to really become vinegar because eventually all wine does kind of go sour on you. So I don't know. It's a very
Maybe I
good
should
question.
send an email to Central City and ask them.
How long will this beer last?
Do
Not a
it.
bad question. It's not a terrible question
Do
to
it.
ask
Go for
because
it.
Okay, just a second here. So there's writing on the bottle that I should actually have read.
okay.
Our limited edition bourbon barrel aged Thor's Hammer is matured for 1 full year. Mahogany in color, this award-winning barley wine is crafted from the finest barley malt, exuding deep, rich notes of dried fruit, not fried fruit.
Woo!
Dried fruit, plum and figs with walnut ester. Decant to remove the sediment of lees. Lees? What the? Okay, whatever. Enjoy lightly chilled now or cellar for 5 years or more. Oh, so that doesn't really tell us anything. 5 years or more. So maybe they're saying like 5 to 7 years is probably the limit, and then after that you should probably drink it.
I could see that. I mean, really, what is beer for? When you really think about it, it's for drinking. It's not meant to sit on a shelf collecting dust like mine does. Excuse me. But we may. What is that? There's a in the movie Weird Science. There is a scene where the two leads are the three leads are in a bar. And it's like a dive bar. There's a smoky atmosphere, jazz music, and there's that one actor, the guy that was the garbage truck driver at the beginning of the Terminator. And
is that the same guy?
It's the same guy.
Oh my god! And
they're like telling the characters to drink the whiskey or whatever it was, and that actor goes, "Drink it!" Yeah. and I've never forgotten that because I'm like, it's the guy from the Terminator.
I never clued into that.
But yeah, it's hilarious because it terrified me back then. It still terrifies me now. But I don't know. It's just kind of cool, you know.
Now I gotta go back and watch that because I've seen both movies time and time again, and I never made that connection.
Drink it.
Drink it. I remember that.
It's so funny because the guy's I actually, you know what? I did look him up a little while back.
He's probably dead by now.
From the Goonies somewhere. No, that's from there's the film Stand By Me. Come on, guys. The kid won't even be dead anymore. So in the movie, The Terminator, from 1984, the actor's name
goddamn son of a bitch.
Get that guy. That's the guy. Where is he? Where is he? He's right here. I can see. Where's his picture? Lance Henriksen. You see the scar?
It's not Lance Henriksen.
Garbage. Oh man, really? Garbage truck driver, the Terminator. Yep, this has been searched for before. The Garbage Man. Emptying the dumpster, played by the guy. The quote under his picture is, "What the hell?" Played by the late Chino Williams. So apparently he passed away in 2000, April 5th. Born in 93, died at the age of 66.
Born in 93?
Or sorry. He was 7 years old. Born in 33.
He looked very mature in 1984 as Terminator.
He looked really referred to as the bar patron in Weird Science. He was an Iron Eagle. That's right. He played Slappy. Right. I remember Slappy.
Did you say drink it?
Drink it. That's probably every film. He was in Rocky 3 as a character named Derelict. Who knew?
He was one of
Rocky 2 and Rocky 3, all in different roles. That's so bizarre.
He was probably one of whatever Carl Weathers' entourage or something.
He was in Roadhouse as a character named Derelict.
Really?
He was very good at being a derelict. Sadly, of all the other stuff that he's done, can't say I've seen any of them. Especially the Cagney and Lacey, The Return from 1994.
Oof.
I have no idea what that is, but there you go.
Speaking of, that reminds me, Murphy Brown apparently is restarting.
Murphy Brown is returning. That is very true. Yeah, I think it's actually already started, hasn't it?
I don't know. But it's a great time for it to come back.
That's true. It just needs to like poke fun at what's his face? Who's the
guy that's sitting in the Oval Office?
No, his buddy, the vice president. Hey, Allie, who's the vice president of the United States right now?
Pence.
Mike Pence. John Pence. Who Pence? That Pence.
Pants?
My pants.
He's the dude that won't let himself be left alone with women without his wife around or something because he might rape them or something. I never quite understood that.
I believe it.
It was one of those weird comments that he made at the beginning of his presidency, or the big. We can only hope.
You better hope not.
But at the beginning of that of Dude Face's term there last year before, whatever the hell, I don't know. I'm Canadian. I got enough trouble with Trudeau, and that's just pretty much it. So,
yeah.
But I love this beer. I want like a keg of this beer. I want a whole keg of this. And then I will drink it all myself and you guys can't have any.
Now getting back to the whole subject of Phillips. I still haven't been to their new tasting facility. They have like this place where you can go and get your growler filled and try out flights and all that kind of stuff. And I haven't been there yet, and I'm dying to go.
So, Alan, is it still at their old location on Government, or did they go elsewhere?
No, they have. So they still have their brewery on Government,
right?
But they have built a new sort of tasting place where you can actually go and get a flight and all that kind of stuff.
That'd be cool.
Whereabouts is that?
Whereabouts is that? Yes. Where is it indeed? Let's see here. So the tasting room, they don't list an address, but the main address for Phillips Brewing is 2010 Government Street. So it's probably at the same place, but they have purchased a spot that's nearby for their tasting room. And if you're interested in buying brewery swag, they have a lot of stuff for sale, including apparel, shirts. They have cycling jerseys. I really want.
That's a real big thing around here because there's a lot of cycling groups that cycle from. They basically one of their things is to make sure that they're cycling along the trail where it's not hard to get to a brewery when you get into our area because they are over there at like 6 a.m. on a bullhorn in the parking lot of the red truck going, everyone, we're going to ride and then we'll meet back here and we're going to get wasted. So
Sounds good. Anyway, you can get a blue buck cycling jersey for $80.
80.
That's actually a really good price for a cycling jersey.
I can't
wouldn't
say I've
know.
ever got one.
Cycling jerseys can run like into like, 150 to $200. So $80 for a cycling jersey, that's actually pretty reasonable.
Wow.
Yeah. They have headwear, glassware, various plaques if you want to, with some of their labels and stuff, if you want to display them, posters, belts, belt buckle, and a growler bag. So it's interesting. They got a lot of stuff.
Big ass.
Yeah.
Well, boys, it's that time.
Mm-hmm.
It's that time. I want to say that there's a movie coming out called Stan and Ollie. It's coming out, I think, next month. I recommend that we all go see it because it's about Stan Laurel and Oliver Hardy. Yeah, just because I was thinking about it the other day. No reason. I'm sure there's beer involved. Any last words, boys?
Beer good.
Yeah. Fantastic. Cricketer tooth. Get it while you can because it will be gone soon.
Yeah. Super impressed with this one.
Yeah.
Which is a lot coming from that man. Gotta say. All right, boys. Alan, as always, take us out.